the scheduling of these things, in particular like marijuana. Like marijuana is legal on a state level with, I think, almost half the country now, or if not more,
Yeah.
but yet federally illegal. And if you go to the history of why it was federally illegal in the first place, it coincides with the what happened with prohibition of alcohol. Right after prohibition of alcohol, they turned their eyes to marijuana, and there was a lot of political influence by Harry Anslinger and William Randolph Hearst, and there's a lot of maneuvering, and that's where the Reefer Madness films came up and all this propaganda stuff.
Okay.
It was to make it illegal, essentially, to make the textile, the hemp, illegal.
Interesting. Okay.
There's a long history to it. It's basically more about
I
the
don't know anything
commodity
about
of
this.
hemp
Yeah.
that it was really about the drug itself. In fact, the term marijuana was never used for cannabis, which has been used for thousands and thousands of years. The term marijuana was created by William Randolph Hearst and put in Hearst newspapers. It was originally, marijuana was a Mexican slang word for wild tobacco.
Really?
It had nothing. So they started writing these stories about blacks and Mexicans smoking this new drug, marijuana, and raping white women. And most of this
I
was...
had no idea this history.
It's so crazy. The story is so nuts, but it all came about because of an invention called the decorticator. And the decorticator is... it's an invention that allows them to economically and effectively process hemp fiber without slave labor. So when the cotton gin came along, people stopped using hemp as much because it's much more difficult to work with, and they started using cotton for
interesting.
clothing.
Okay.
But before that, they'd use hemp. And this is non-psychoactive
Okay.
hemp.
Yeah.
It makes a superior paper. It does. There's a bunch of uses for it, completely outside of the psychoactive aspect
Yeah.
of it. William Randolph. There was the cover of, was it Popular Science magazine? Popular Mechanics magazine, hemp, the new billion-dollar crop. And it was all about this invention. So then the propaganda machine goes into full
interesting.
scale, and then they
When was
start.
this?
This was in the 1930s.
Okay.
So they start, here it is, the new billion-dollar crop, 1938. And this is because of this invention, the decorticator. So
Yeah.
it solves a problem. You can see it there. Solves a problem more than 6,000 years old. Hemp, a crop that will not compete with other American products. Instead, it will displace imports of raw material and manufactured products produced by underpaid coolie and peasant labor. It will provide thousands of jobs for American workers throughout the land. So everybody was really high on hemp as a commodity because of this new machine that you could process hemp fiber with, where you can make much more superior paper, superior clothing.
Yeah.
Like it's like canvas. Literally, the Mona Lisa was painted on hemp. The first draft of the Declaration of Independence was written on hemp. They used to use it for paper back then.
Yeah.
So then William Randolph Hearst, who owns Hearst Publication, and also owns all these paper mills and forests filled with trees.
Okay.
So they,
again,
to
this
combat
goes back to the financial
this
incentive
industry,
point. Yeah.
exactly. And so we're still trapped under this propaganda that was distributed in the 1930s by incredibly powerful people.
Yeah.
And this is why it's illegal on the federal level. And even though you have medical marijuana that's been shown to help people with chemotherapy and wasting disease, help people that have appetite problems and people in chronic pain, it's still listed as a Schedule I drug federally, which to me is unconscionable. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay. So, like, first of all, we're not trying to be clear, because I'm speaking as a vice presidential candidate, we're not trying to throw people in jail for smoking weed. That's like very much something that we're not interested in doing. The one thing that I have, like, my attitude on this stuff is kind of live and let live. Like, keep it in your home. I don't like smelling it when I take my kids to the park, right?
Yeah,
but keep
that's
it,
not
like,
good.
keep it
Daddy,
home.
what's that skunk doing
exactly.
here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But, like, keep it at home. I don't want to throw people in prison. That's not what we're trying to do.
I don't think you should be drunk at the park either, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same exact principle. The thing that I wonder about is